I would like to introduce now Muralidharan Maningal. Muralidharan is a digital transformation leader and a board member. He's joining us from Pune, India. And as the session becomes interesting, he's going to talk about open data as a catalyst for innovation. So welcome, Muralidharan, to the conference.
Thank you so much. Hope you all can hear me.
Yes, we can. Please proceed.
Okay, let me share my slides. So it's indeed my pleasure and privilege to be part of this interesting conference. So I was more a listener in the last 3 sessions. It's quite interesting discussions. Probably I may throw some light, which the team can take it forward as a solution or as a way forward. Let me try my best for that. So let me know if you can see my first slide.
We can see it, Muralidharan. You can proceed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So what I thought I'll share some experiential learnings with my little experience from the corporate sector as well as on the advisory role to the government of India. So I'll just try to put some points as part of my discussion, and any questions I'm more than happy to take up at the end. We heard a lot about open data, and we heard a lot about AI, big data in the last couple of days' time. So just one question from my side. Can we imagine a world where there are no computers, where there are no mobile phones, there are no online services? I think it's quite difficult, quite hard for all of us. So one of the reasons is that the computer revolution has reached pretty much the entire world, or the most part of the world, and people are getting the benefits of this digital transformation. And day by day, the understanding how to use the digital technologies, the awareness is increasing from the citizens. And the expectation, what it means is that expectation from the society is also increasing. So now we are in a world, now we are in a state, we are moving to the next wave of revolution, which we called as the fourth industrial revolution, wherein the digital, the cyber physical, the gap between the cyber physical systems are rising. The machines are existing, coexisting with the human beings, work along with the human beings. There's a narrow gap between the cyberspace. So that is an era where we are walking through, or we are traversing through. So in this journey, it is far more important to leverage the digital technology and the digitalization to the fullest extent to give maximum benefit to the society. If you're talking about the government or the public sector, for the benefit of the organization, for the growth, for the expansion, when you talk about the corporations. So the data-driven world is always beyond this new generation, especially when you talk about the new generation, Gen Z. So you can see that always they're clinging on to the digital devices, and all these digital devices are creating more and more data every day. And all this data, depending on how that is being captured, that is getting tracked, and applications or the systems are listening to this data. And some of the organization or some of the systems are leveraging this data effectively for some decision support or some planning. But there are a lot more opportunities where we have not tapped the potential of this data. Now, as you hear that the new oil of the generation is the data. It is not about the quantum of the data, how effectively we are using the available data to understand, to get the right information, to get the right insight, and using that insight, having the right knowledge to take the right decision to make continuous improvement. So that is a differentiator an organization can make. Most of the people are having pretty much the same set of open data or publicly available data, but some of the organizations are leveraging in a smart way to add value, to create better service or products. And that's helping both the organizations and the stakeholders in a better way. So let's look at the volume of the, let me minimize my video. The volume of data, this is the data taken from IDC report. So most of you are familiar that last couple of years, 2-3 years, the whole of data created in the universe has been doubled. And we are going to see that exponential growth of the data in the coming years. And it's predicted to have 175 zettabytes of data by 2015. Just to put in perspective, 1 zettabyte is equivalent to the whole data generated in the entire universe until 2012. And that's increasing year by year. And just to get a better picture about what is a zettabyte, it is 100 petabytes. And if you are storing all this data in a DVD, and if you put it across the world, it takes 222 turns. It can go around the whole of world. So that much CDs would be required to store 175 zettabytes of data. So that shows that we are going to see an enormous growth, an exponential growth of data in the coming years. And how prepared are we to tap the benefit, to tap the value out of this data? So we all see that every day the new devices are coming and people are using multiple devices, and more IoT devices, Internet of Things related devices, and many devices tracking the health and well-being of the human, tracking the health and good operations of the organizations and the industry. So that is getting increased day by day. And all of these devices, the edge and the devices are creating data every day, and which is going to increase in the coming years. But most of the organizations are not prepared to tap the real value, real potential of the data being generated. So what are the types of data available? So we are talking about a lot about the open data. There are various types of data available in various shapes and forms available across systems, across the country, in physical, digital, electronic, many formats. And when we talk about the data that can be leveraged, we are primarily talking about the open, the closed, or the shared data. So these are just an indicative list of data, and some of them may be available and accessible to all, some of them may not be, some of them may be restricted. But when you look at the types of the data, we can see that some of them are protected within the organization or within the enterprise. It could be government, it could be the private corporation, or some of them could be shared with limited or restricted partners within the organization or its partners. And some of them could be the open data which can be leveraged by anyone without having any specific permissions, and they can distribute as well. So what is open data? I'm not going through that. I think we have seen enough definitions of the data. And how can we use this data generated by the various organizations, especially the open data, effectively to improve the organizational performance, to improve the socio-economic development of the country? So what are the options? How can we leverage that? Probably I'll touch upon some thoughts on how can that be achieved. So you all are familiar with the word innovation. What's innovation? There are many definitions, but the simplest one is, how can you make changes to the process or to the products or the services in the way what we do now? So which will give a positive impact to its users, and it's going to add value to the organization or to its stakeholders. So it's a improvement. It could be an incremental improvement, or it could be a radical transformative improvement, which is impacting a product or a service, adding value to its stakeholders. So what do the organizations, why do the organizations innovate? When you talk about the private organizations, so their focus is to improve the top line or the bottom line, to increase the value of the value provided by the organization to its customers, to improve the market reach, to launch new products and services. But when we look at the innovation from the government sector or public sector, that's probably more focusing on how can the government enable an improvement in the socio-economic life, improvement in the planet, stability of a planet in a sustainable manner. So that will be the focus from a public sector perspective. So how can these organizations leverage this data? What is available within the organizations and what is available outside the organizations could be in the open data format, effectively for leveraging, effectively for exploiting the potential values. There are many organizations from many countries are already adopting that. They're leveraging the collaboration between academia, the startups and entrepreneurs, partnership or collaboration with other business organizations, NGO and investors, or the consultants. Because when you look at the organizational capability, the organization will have a set of people and set of capability. And if they want to make a transformative change, the capability would be required most of the time. That is one of the challenges faced by most of the organizations. So this model, by creating a network with academia, the R&D research organizations, startups, entrepreneurs, and other organizations and other people, so they can create an ecosystem and nurture an ecosystem wherein they can drive innovation, wherein they can try out what they wanted to experiment, to add new product, to launch new products, to offer new service, to increase the value, to increase the benefits offered by the organization to its stakeholders, be it public or be it the business stakeholders. So various organizations are adopting different techniques. So it could be as simple as ideathon, hackathon, open forums, or conferences like this, or the collaborations on joint ventures or partnerships to get or to establish partnership between these various stakeholders. It could be in relation to a particular theme. I think our previous speaker spoke about, and we had a discussion about how can we leverage value to the higher education? How can we get that, the skillable, how can we enhance the skillability of the students coming out of the college? I think it's not unique to Oman, it is common across the globe. So I think many of the organizations, what we do is that in the organization where I was sitting here just before this, one of the things what I've done is that we created an academia and industry partnership. It's easy for the organization, business entity to say that, hey, I'm not getting a skillable employee, but what am I doing as a business organization, responsible business organization, to enhance the employability or skillability of the students coming out of the college? Most of the time they lack the real world experience. What they get is a short duration internship during their breaks. But how can we collaborate with academia? Not just offering internship and the placement, but beyond that, offering a course, connecting with the students and the teachers more often so that that gap is minimized over a period of time. Then you can also leverage the students in an effective manner. I just can give an example. I mean, I used to leverage the students. I used to connect with a few of the leading institutes in India. Whenever we come across a challenge, I used to tap the various academia and do conduct hackathon and ideathon. And sometimes they do get some innovative thoughts, a totally different thoughts and solution from the students. And that will be really valuable for the organizations. And together, if we collaborate and work together, I'm sure that that will help the entire ecosystem to nurture the overall capability and innovativeness of the system. Then how can the innovation, how can the organization drive the innovation? And it's true that most of the ideas what we get may not be implementable and may not be getting a real value out of that. We'll go through the typical funnel of idea generation. Suppose if we get 100 ideas, we'll be evaluating what are the ideas that will be useful from the organization perspective. Then the selected ideas will be taken through the pilot phase. And the pilot phase will be evaluating whether that is a commercially, can we create a viable product out of it? Can we launch a new product or a service or improve the product or a service So that will be an incremental journey, and that need to work in a continuous incremental manner in collaboration with the various stakeholders in the innovation community, innovation network. And how can the public sector organization get the benefit out of that? And for example, there are 17 goals identified as part of the 2015 UN Sustainable Development Goals. And it encompasses about 169 various measures, which is touching from the people side, the technology side, the planet and the environment side, and the legal aspects, environmental aspects. Each of the government, I'm sure that including Oman and other countries, are working on monitoring the Sustainable Development Index of the country. How are they faring against the Sustainable Development goals agreed with the UN by its member countries? And how is that indicators, how is that goals improved year by year? And what are kind of measures we have it? And what it gives is that it gives a true, clear, data-driven governance to see the progress of the initiatives taken by the government and its impact on the outcome. And what is that benefit realized by the respective stakeholder, be it the planet, be it the vertical society, or be other stakeholders. And that in turn will help by leveraging the innovation and effective use of the data, especially the public data. The previous speaker spoke about having about 240 government owned companies in Oman. Assume that if all the companies are publishing all this unrestricted, non-confidential data to the public, the potential startups, the potential enterprises, potential business entities, consultants, NGOs, they can leverage once we create an ecosystem to nurture the adoption of this data and encourage the adoption of this data, to look into this data and create value out of it, which can help in improving the overall societal, overall country progress. And that will help in improving the collaboration between the government and its stakeholders. And this gives a perspective of a data-driven governance. Most of the time, when we start the journey, it's not different from the public sector or in the government organization. Probably the private organization may have a little more cleaner data, but it's not any different. They also have, most of the private organizations also will face the challenges with the data quality. And we need to start where we are. We need to be practical and pragmatic where we are and look at what inferences we are deriving out of what insights we are getting it, and how can we build models, how can we take decision support on that, how can we carve out the policies and the laws to help in improving the current socioeconomic status and the well-being of the society. Similarly, what the private organizations can do that, apart from looking at the top line and the bottom line improvement, apart from launching the new products and services, apart from improving the quality of the products and services offered by the organizations, there is a strong focus on the ESG, the environment, social, and governance aspect. And I'm sure that most of the organizations have started some initiative. What and how can they contribute to create a sustainable planet? Okay, so there are various reports being generated. Apart from looking at their financial performance, the organizational performance, they can look at both the aspects, the ESG aspects and the organizational performance, leveraging the data. And in that journey, they can leverage the data which is available publicly for taking the appropriate interventions. Once they start taking the data, probably the organizations, whoever is publishing the data, might come across that, hey, this data I need to enrich, I need to enhance, improve the structure, I need to improve the quality of the data. So that's a journey. So with a collaborative partnership, with the collaboration between the various stakeholders, be the society, be the business, be the entrepreneurs, be the R&D, be the academicians, all together. So this journey can be accelerated. So there are many organizations, I'm sure you would have come across in the last couple of days time, many organizations are already leveraging, and the previous speaker spoke about the use of open data by the Oman government. And various institutes, various public organizations are also publishing the open data. There is enormous number of data sets, various categories available across countries, across sectors, across catalogs. And the quality, probably that's improving day by day. And if we have the right users, and if they give the feedback to the data publisher, the custodians of the data, and I'm sure that that journey will help in improving the quality of the data and its use and the value derived by its users. So how can the organization be successful? One is certainly need to have a clear focus on the data and the data governance. Need to have a data custodian, focus on the information architecture. When you talk about from the public sector or private sector, I'm sure there will be a focus on the enterprise architecture. One of the aspects is the information architecture, apart from the technology business architecture. And they need to have a strong focus on the information architecture. How the data, the life cycle of the data is managed effectively. How are we deriving value out of the data in motion, data in stationary, both. Then how can we encourage the organization to contribute in the open data ecosystem? And most of the time, people do have concerns. And when we enforce it as a law, there's a good chance that people might publish it as all the data or no data. Okay, but it's important to sensitize the need or the importance of the open data and how is that going to get leveraged by its users, and how is that going to get benefit? How is that going to give benefit to the organization? And if the people having that understanding, and if we manage the change management, organizational change management, understanding that importance of the data and its usage, I'm sure that that will help in improving the quality of the data and the value derived out of it. And people need to realize that the new mantra, the new guidance is collaboration, not competition. We talk about the competition between banks, the insurance companies, and other entities. But of late, I'm sure that we are seeing more collaboration, because rather than reinventing the wheel, wherever they can collaborate, so they are leveraging the collaborative path to approach to attain a win-win strategy. And through the strong adoption of the data governance and data-driven governance, both the organization, public and private sector, can tap the full potential of the data what we have, which is the oil for future. So thank you from my side, and I'm happy to take up any questions.
Thank you, Muralidharan, for the wonderful presentation, for telling us what you do and what you've done on the Indian government panel. So that's very useful. Yes, of course, you ended with oil is the data is the future, not the oil, of course. So I'll ask one question before we get Amar, our CEO, to take it over. Muralidharan, this question is for you. How did the Indian governments talk to each other, the different ministries talk to each other, and solve this problem of like data protection within their own organization? Probably like for many reasons, and India is a complex country. I myself come for Confederation of Indian Industries. So can you just give us like a quick 1 minute, how did they work together, or are they still having similar or a bigger problem than a smaller country like Oman?
So I think one of the initiatives taken by the government of India is to have the right policy and the framework in place, and a sensitization of the importance of the data governance, the importance of the open data within its departments, within its administration. That's one of the things they have done. We have conducted multiple workshops across the different ministries. We conducted multiple workshops across the states, and also identified the chief data officer from most of the leading ministries, the departments, and the governments to drive this. the right structure, right policy framework, and the awareness of this, how this can be leveraged across the country. So when we look at now, I think we have close to about half a million, 500,000 plus resources available in the Indian Open Data Portal, and which is touching across 200 plus ministries and departments. And if you ask the question, is it really good? I think there is a lot more to go.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Muralidharan. Appreciate your time. Thank you for being here with us.